Okay, almost everyone is here. Commissioner McGloin called me and told me that he would not be able to make this meeting this afternoon, so we're not waiting for him, and I hope our solicitor strolls in any minute. But we'll call the meeting to order, and I'll apologize in advance for occasional sniffles. I've got a cold, I believe, coming on, so. And welcome to District Attorney Gallagher. Welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Okay, we're happy to have you. Okay. So I trust everybody's had an opportunity to review the meeting minutes, and if so, we'll entertain a motion to dispense with the reading and approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Okay. Anybody from the public wish to address the board on agenda items only? I see no one stepping forward, so we'll move on. It's time to reorganize, so we're going to go for a motion to appoint a chairman and vice chairman. So I will step down as chairman, and I'll ask.
I'll make a motion for Judge Gibbons for chairman.
I thought you liked me.
I do, right there in that seat.
Okay. So there's a motion and a second.
On the question? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I abstain.
You're chairman again.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I think. And so likewise with the vice chairman's position, Sheriff, you'll step down as vice chairman, for the moment. I'll entertain a motion for nominations and considering nominations for vice chairman of the board.
I'll nominate Sheriff McAndrew as vice chairman.
I have a nomination. Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Shermack seconds it. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any
Abstain.
opposed?
I'll abstain.
Okay. The ayes have it with one abstention, so. As Hall and Oates used to say, we're back together again. Okay, so. Next item on the agenda is a motion to set our regularly scheduled meetings for the prison board to be held on the third Wednesday of the month at 12:30 unless otherwise specified. We will also note that quarterly we meet at the prison. So, and quarterly would be March, June, September, and December. Didn't know I knew math, did you? Okay. Speaking of math, here comes our lawyer. He knows how to multiply by 3. So has everybody had an opportunity to review the meeting schedules? And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve that schedule.
So moved.
Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Next is a motion to follow Robert's Rules of Order for conduct of the prison board meetings.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. We'll follow, as we always have, the Robert's Rules of Order. So we'll get into the meat of the motions here. The motion to pre-approve and audit bills and certify for payment bills which routinely fall within the adopted budget, and that all invoices which do not fall within the adopted budget parameters be brought here to the board meeting for pre-approval for payment, and to approve payroll at the monthly meetings. Do I have such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is a motion to approve all current payables for the Community Corrections Center and the prison. I trust you've had an opportunity to review those. They were circulated in advance of today's meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. All current payables for Community Corrections Center and the prison are approved. Next, we'll move to our reports. Controller DeBillio, the floor is yours.
Yes, Judge Gibbons. The Controller's report of the prison inmate and canteen accounts for January 2025. The Controller's office has reviewed the prison inmate and canteen account reconciliations, which were prepared by the prison business office for the month of December 2025, and found no discrepancies between the reconciliations and the bank statement. The balance in the inmate account was $466,315.05 as of January 31st, 2025. The balance in the canteen checking account was $529,053.74 as of January 31st of 2025. In addition, as of January 31st, the canteen account also included a balance in two Pennsylvania local government investment trust investment accounts totaling $947,810.28, which is earning approximately $3,455.48 per month, and both which will mature in July of 2025. Also, just to confirm from our last meeting, the most recent $180-day renewal of $108,224 was indeed renewed on January 24th at a rate of 4.42% annualized. And during the month of January 2025, $66,901.82 was paid from the canteen account for the benefit, welfare, and education of county inmates, and an itemized list of those expenses are attached to my report. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. DeBillio. Anybody have any questions for the controller on his report? I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Mr. McConaughey will hear the Community Corrections report now.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's the house arrest report for the month of January. Programs totals, adult house arrest had 170 participants, juvenile had 26. Programs revenues, house arrest had $55,143.39. Juvenile had $5,130, for a total of $60,273.39. Programs expenses was $103,568.33. Programs completions was 43. Violations were 7. We're now down to 3 outstanding warrants for house arrest. Budget overall, overtime was at 2%, expenses at 9%, and revenues at 9%. That's the end of my report.
Any questions from Mr. McConaughey? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve his report.
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Your report is approved. Thank you, Norm.
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from the warden.
Good afternoon, Board. The average daily population for January was 675 inmates, 535 were county inmates. We averaged 593 adult males, 2 juvenile males, and 80 adult females. The average daily population of U.S. Marshal detainees was 140. Our overtime and out-of-county boarding reports are attached. And staffing update, currently our correctional officer numbers break down to 175 full-time officers on shift, 4 out on workers' comp, 1 on continuous FMLA, and we have 95 with intermittent FMLA. We have 2 individuals on administrative leave and 0 vacancies for a total of 182 officers. I think that might be the first time I said 0 vacancies, so I'm very excited about that. So.
We're excited to hear it.
And it's reflected in the overtime. The overtime is doing very well. Extraordinary occurrence reports. There were 4 in the month of January. On January 3rd, a female prisoner began physically acting out. Efforts to de-escalate the situation were unsuccessful. The situation became volatile, and staff deemed it necessary for the safety of all involved to place her in the emergency restraint chair. On January 16th, a newly committed female prisoner was uncooperative with the booking process, and for safety purposes, a decision was made to place her in the emergency restraint chair. On January 19th, 2 male inmates were involved in a physical altercation with each other, and staff was able to separate the 2. However, one of the combatants was seriously injured, and he had to be taken to the emergency department of a local hospital for treatment. On January 23rd, a female inmate was refusing to comply with instructions to allow her cell door to be properly secured. She was holding on to part of her cell door and refusing to allow it to be properly shut during a round of medication pass, and that was holding up the medication pass. After multiple attempts to gain her compliance, a decision was made to use what's called an electronic body immobilization device, also known as an EBID. To compel her to allow for the proper closure of her cell door. She was given a final warning to allow the door to be closed, but still refused, and staff then used the handheld EBID, and she complied with the orders. An EBID, for those that don't know, it's not a stun gun, but it's similar to it. There were 2 under PREA. There were 2 PREA investigations completed in the month of January. One was an inmate on inmate sexual harassment, and it was deemed unfounded. One was staff on inmate sexual misconduct, and that was founded. The violator was a staff member of the contracted food provider. And reports for both investigations have been forwarded to the DA's office for further action if deemed appropriate. And this concludes my report.
Any questions for the warden?
I have 2 questions for you, Warden. Can you give us an update on the GED program?
Yes, there was an RFP out. That time has come and went. We received 1 submission. We're currently reviewing it to ensure its compliance with the RFP standards that were put out there.
Okay.
I will have something for the prison board next month. The one company that did respond is Outreach. They have provided this service in the past with us, and we're very familiar with Outreach.
Okay. And can you give us an update on the transition to Armor Healthcare, the new healthcare provider at the prison?
Yeah, at this point in time, that transition occurred January 15th. They had a little snafus in the beginning with transitioning with the electronic health records. That's all on board. I think close to, if not 100% of the staff that were there under the previous medical provider were offered to continue on with Armor Health, and I think close to 100% took that. So that actually helped with a smooth transition, knowing everybody, knowing the layout, knowing how our end of things work. We've met on a couple occasions with the folks from Armor to kind of start getting to know each other. And it just seems to be going smoothly at this point in time. So, and we are meeting on a regular basis.
That's great. And I just want to thank you for your help last year with trying to get the overtime down. Obviously, as you had said, it bears itself out now in the report. And just so people know, if you don't have the agenda, our administration last year, with the help of the warden, put a major focus on bringing the overtime down because it was out of control. So the first payroll of 2023, there was $116,772 in overtime. First payroll period in 2024, $119,844. The first pay period of this year, $41,320. And it's similar even at the end of last year, and then the second pay period, we're only at $38,000 compared to $94,000 in 2024 and $84,000. So it is working, and I just want to thank you for your help with that, and it's good news. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. I was going to ask you how the transition with the new provider is, so, but you answered that, so I appreciate that. Anybody else have any questions for the warden? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody from the public wish to address the board? Joan? Oh, I'm sorry, Joan, can I interrupt you for a second? I need to have a motion to accept the warden's report. Do I have a second? I have a second. On the question? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Go ahead, Joan. Thanks. Thank you.
Joan Hodawan at Scranton. Must be the drugs you're taking for your cold. I've heard a nasty.
I can see the headline tomorrow.
Yeah.
Judge on drugs during prison board meeting.
I've heard a nasty, nasty rumor that we're supposed to get a new warden. So how is the nationwide search going?
Well, as far as I know, there have been a number of applications. I'm not involved in the initial screening aspect of it, but I've been, updated by the warden. They have reviewed a number of applications, and Tim, can you speak to the rest of that?
Yeah, we're in the process of interviewing candidates.
Okay.
Well, I hope you have a plan of succession in case Warden Betty dies of old age. But I think he's looking forward to.
I think he's found new life, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I think he's looking forward to, leaving. And he's done a great job, so I'm happy for what he's done. And I hope you do find someone equally professional. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Appreciate it. How about that, Warden? You're getting accolades.
I'm not used to that.
Okay. You probably get it when you go home. Anybody else from the public wish to address the board? Bev?
Bev DeBarro, Scranton. First, I have a question from the controller's report. When the canteen fund earns $3,000 a month, where does that amount of money go?
That's being reinvested right back into the canteen account, so it's growing, Bev.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a suggestion, since that account is so huge and since we want to use it to enhance the life of the inmates, so based on the figures, based on like 700 inmates, if we gave each one right now on their books with no deductions, $50 to spend for their needs in the commissary, for their toothpaste, shampoo, you name it, phone access, and like ramen noodles, whatever. That would amount to, I think, about $115,000, or wait, I think so, but I could be wrong. Anyway, 350. My math, Gary, help me. 50 times 700, $35,000, right? Okay.
I'll take your word for it. The only A I ever got was my middle initial, so I can't.
Reggie would consider it The other thing is the law library and the prison. Commissioners, did you read the emails that I sent to you like a week and a half ago? And anything on that from you?
I'm just waiting to see what the warden and what the board wants to do with the
No, that's not what I wrote to you about. I suggested that you go to Luzerne County.
I know that.
Yeah.
It's
To-
still safety issues and issues to do with,
For the law library, safety issues.
it's whatever the warden recommends with the
Okay, all right. Bill?
Are you looking for an answer from me?
Yeah, and also Waymart, I asked you to go there and compare their law library and the way they sew, the inmates sew the uniforms.
I haven't made it. I've been a little busy the last couple of days, so I haven't
Can
made
imagine,
it
yeah.
up to Waymart or Luzerne County, but
But if you would,
sure.
but this, I was recommended to read this book, and I did, and it's very good, and it explains a lot how a law library in the prison can make a big difference in a person's life, something like Brian Stevenson and John Grisham and all that. But, okay, I'm going to probably go to the County Bar Association and see what they say, and so I'll get back to you again. Okay.
Thank you, Bev. Anybody else from the public wish to address the board? I see nobody else. Any of the members have any other business? I see nobody, and so on that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
second.
Have a motion and a second on the question. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.